Even though in the last lecture you learned how to define optional parameters, generally speaking, optional parameters are something you need to avoid. Now, in this particular example, having these optional parameters in the URL makes sense because they give a nice structure to our URLs. For example, we can look at all the posts or posts for a given year or posts in a given month in a given year. But generally speaking, when you're dealing with optional parameters, instead of including them in the route, you should include them in query string. So as you know, query string is what we append to a URL using a question mark. Here we can have 0 or more parameters. For example, sort by, newest, and approved true. So let's imagine we only want to see the approved posts, and we want these posts to be sorted by newest. Now we can apply these query string parameters on any combinations of the posts route, such as all posts or posts for a given year or a given year and a given month. These optional parameters can always be added on the right side. So now let me show you how to read these parameters in a React application. Here, let's press enter. Now open up React DevTools. So here, let's go to the React tab and search for the posts component. So you have seen the match object. We use this to extract the route parameters. Query string parameters are in the location object. Let's take a look. Look at the search property. The value of this property is our entire query string. Now, we don't want to manually read this string, parse it, and extract the value for these parameters. There must be a better way. So here in the terminal, let's install query-string version 6.1.0. This is a very popular NPM package for working with query strings. All right, installed. Now, let's go to our posts component. So in this functional component, currently we are destructuring the props object and getting the match property. We should also add location. Now, we're going to get location.search. This is a string, as you saw earlier. We're going to parse this string using the query string package. So on the top, import query string from query string module. This object has a parse method. So query string.parse. Here we pass location.search. And this will give us an object with properties based on the parameters in the query string. So here we have two parameters, sort by and approved. That object will have properties named accordingly. So we can either store everything in one object or use object destructuring to immediately extract the sort by property. In this case, I want to show you the actual object. So let's log this on the console. Now back in the browser. So this is the object that we get as a result of parsing the query string. Note that the values here are always string. So if you want to work with numbers or booleans, you need to parse them accordingly.